Hi guys, it's me, Sean, and I want to talk to you about something that occurred to me about exactly a year ago, and something that I've been thinking about, and I didn't know if I wanted to make a vlog out of it or not, but it really happened. Um, I was staying in a monastery, and I was studying to be a priest, and I don't know why I'm smiling because I didn't make it. But anyway, here in New York, I'm just going to say it was in New York State. That's all I'm going to say. It was a monastery, and they were friars. And so, brothers and fathers. And um, we had all the guys in us had the pleasure of finding out that the place had reverberations of life. In other words, it was haunted. I didn't want to use that word, but it was haunted. And I think that when something tumultuous happens in anyone's life, a family's life, or a single person's life, and you're in a home, uh, that life, that tragedy reverberates into the walls and the woodwork, and it's really hard to get that out. And sometimes, after the person demises, um, that reverberation happens, and they call that a haunting. Um, and this place, this monastery, was very old, and I think it was 1793, and um, just at first a very comfortable place to stay and learn. And there were modern conveniences. I mean, you could not take a cell phone above the second floor. They wanted no type of visual instruments, no type of phones, no watches, except like the Timex watch, which nobody has. They didn't want any type of modern conveniences upstairs beyond the second floor. On the second floor, there was television, karaoke, all type of electronics, but above that there wasn't. I'm just stating to you what occurred and what was there. We had a very modern kitchen. Everything was modern except on the upper floors. So one time, one night, it was approximately, because there were no clocks, so it was approximately 2 in the morning. I was sound asleep because we went to bed relatively early, like 10, 9:30, 10. So I guess it was about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I started hearing opera. Now, where I was in a monastery, there were no nuns, there were no female caretakers, nothing of that sort, just guys, just men. And it woke me out of my sleep. I didn't jolt, but I slowly was awakened by opera, a contralto, female voice. And she sang, and as she progressed, as the voice progressed, because I didn't see any type of visuals or anything like that, as the voice progressed, it got louder and louder, to the point where there was an echo out in the hallway. And I want to tell you that in our rooms, they weren't called rooms or chambers or anything like that. They were called cells, and very small, very just big enough for a bed and maybe a table. Right, table and chair, and no doors whatsoever. Now, ever so often before this occurred, they would be knocking at the framework, and I don't know what time that would occur, but it would wake most of us up. And that went on for as long as I was there. I was there about 4.5 months, 4.5, 5 months. And so the opera was going on. It was just the solo voice, contralto, and I would say every third note, every third to fifth note, there was an echo in that stairwell. Everything was metallic in this stairwell except for the floor, which was wood, and of course the walls were plaster and they were wood and stuff like that, and ceiling. But you could hear the reverberations of her voice, of this female's voice, in the stairwell. This is absolutely true. There was an elevator, but that wasn't in use after 10 o'clock at night. Sorry, after 12, because there was still uh, friars and brothers and the staff walking around. All the staff were male. Um, like I said, no head mothers, no RA, female RAs, anything like that. No nuns. And it progressed. It had to be about 10 minutes long that this voice kept singing and singing and singing. And believe me, I was half asleep. I got into that other position where I'm like, whoa, what's that? But I didn't jolt up. I'm very happy I didn't do that. The hairs on the back of my neck was standing up fully, and I was scared shitless. You know, I was in trepidation of this operatic voice because I knew it was otherworldly. It was not any person that had come on that floor, on the third floor, and I was on the fourth floor, and started singing. Nothing like that. I would think after 10 minutes, it slowly dissipated. I don't want to say it slowly dissipated. It got quieter and quieter, and then it just went away. The voice just stopped. Um, and directly after the voice stopped, there was sound like rattlesnake rattles, or uh, what do you call it? Marimbas. I have it written down actually. Maracas. So it was like maracas afterwards. Directly after her last note, sounded like maracas or snake rattles, and it was very. All of this was very creepy, very scary, totally intimidating, and I did not sleep the rest of the night. Let me tell you that after the maracas sounded, or the rattlesnakes sounded, there was knocking at all of the frames of the doors. Light knocking, like almost like applauding or clapping, but it was knocking at the wood frame of the doors. Like I told you, there were no physical doors, just the frame. So our rooms were totally open, our cells were totally open. And like I said, the opera went on for 10 minutes. Then directly after that were the marimbas, or I keep saying, wanting to say marimbas, the maracas, or rattlesnake sounding. Definitely rattles, and then the knocking at all the frames of the doors. And I know I was not the only one to hear that. And it was a long time until 5 a.m. when they got us up. The priest got us up, as usual. And I said directly to Father, I said, did you hear that? He goes, what? Did you hear the opera, this opera singer last night? And he immediately said, oh, it must have been a party. Well, let me tell you, where we were in, I'm going to say New York State, you're never going to hear opera. This wasn't 42nd Street. It wasn't a cast party. You're never going to hear any type of opera at any type of get-together where we were. It wasn't Lincoln Center. It wasn't any type of cast party there. No type of singing, dancing, music, nothing like that. And in the area where we were, there was never ever gonna be any type of music or parties going on, especially playing opera. Uh, so he denied that he heard it. He attributed the opera to, oh, somebody's throwing a party. Really? No, sorry, Father, it wasn't that, and you know it wasn't, because she said all of this with a smirk.